Hey folks, PC Outcast here. We're taking a look at the upcoming changes to the Dragonhold DLC for ESO, how that affects the various classes, and we are taking a look at Templar now. If you're more interested in another class, then check out the description where I will hopefully, by the time you're watching this, have put a link to the other classes for you to check out there. So the Templar, Adric's Spear, Piercing Javelin reduced the range from this ability, and its morphs to 22 meters down from 28 to ensure they follow the function of other abilities such as Scattershot or Fury Grip. These abilities will now ignore the target's physical or spell resistance to ensure they have a unique auxiliary effect. Okay? This standardizing is, I understand it from a balance point of view, but it also kind of makes all classes too similar. So that's why they added the ignoring spell and physical resistance. Puncturing Strikes, this ability and its morphs will now snare the nearest enemy hit by 40% every time it deals damage. Nearest enemy hit by 40%. Okay, so there's a 40% chance, I think that's what they're saying, there's a 40% chance of snaring the nearest enemy, rather than snaring the nearest enemy hit by 70% on the final hit. Okay, so that's down. This ability and its morphs will now properly be considered direct damage attacks rather than a hybrid of direct damage and damage over time. Note that some item sets may still erroneously trigger from the attack and will be fixed in a future update. Updated the visual effects of this ability to better sync up with its attacks. Okay, so Puncturing Strikes no longer has damage over time, so that's another hit to damage over time in this patch. Spear Shards, this ability and its morphs now last 10 seconds, up from 8, increased base cost to 49.50, up from 30.24. Reduced the damage per tick of the damage over time portion of this ability and the luminous shards morph by approximately 53%. Blazing Spear morph increased the initial hit damage of this ability by 10%, but decreased the damage over time by approximately 59% per tick. Right. So that's big hit to DOT. Dawn's Wrath. Backlash. This ability and its morph's final explosion can now critically strike. Boom, baby. Purifying Light morph. The heal over time from this ability will now, as the tooltip insinuates, always apply after the effect ends via any means such as being purged, being recast, or ending naturally. The light cannot be stopped and shall purify all. This also means that Purifying Light will count for one less negative effect from purging. Okay, so it cannot be stopped. It will always, whether it's purged, recast, or ends naturally, the heal over time will still continue. Eclipse fixed an issue where reapplying this ability or the Unstoppable Core morph to a target before the original expired could cause issues with the cooldown of the effects. Okay, so that's fixed. Living Dark morph. This morph now only snares targets for 60% rather than immobilizing them. Reduce the healing by approximately 10%. So nerf to Living Dark. Unstable Core, reduce the initial and secondary damage dealt of this ability by approximately 44% and the final hit by 25%. These attacks now happen in a 5-meter radius around the target as the visuals insinuate. Okay, so it's a small AoE, but a lot less damage. Solar Flare. Solar Barrage increased the duration of this morph to 8 seconds up from 6. Decreased the damage per tick by approximately 30%. Yep. Ow. Sunfire fixed an issue with the Major Prophecy from this ability and its morphs. where it and its morphs would only occur if you dealt damage rather than upon activation, as the tooltip states. That's good. Increase the base duration of this ability and its morphs to 10 seconds, up from 8. Increase the cost to 49.70, up from 29.70 to 23.76. Decrease the damage over time of these abilities by approximately 60% per tick. So increased cost. This is not as bad as some of the other DOT, but damage is not good at all. Yeah, pretty much hurt everywhere. And restoring light, cleansing ritual of retribution morph, reduce the damage per tick of this morph by 33%. Restoring focus, fixed an issue where this ability was unable to be cast while silenced. Rite of passage, fixed an issue where this ability could cause health desyncs when used while taking heavy damage. Okay, so a couple of fixes, quite a few fixes actually. Lots of nerfs to damage over time, and not really a lot of bonuses. I mean, the only improvement, the only buff the Templar that I can see Templar getting is that Backlash can potentially, the final explosion can critically strike. So that's nice. And also, oh yeah, Purifying Light can also not be purged. But everything else, nerf across the board. All right, that's the Templar.